Every morning, 2.25 billion cups of coffee are consumed by people all over the world. This makes coffee the most consumed beverage worldwide. But have you ever wondered how the ground coffee we drink is made? Although it doesn't have the quality of traditionally brewed coffee, instant coffee is the most popular worldwide, and its production involves complex processes where a single mistake can waste hours of work and thousands of dollars. Coffee has its origins in tropical regions near the equator, known as the Coffee Belt. Countries like Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia, Ethiopia, and Honduras are the main producers thanks to their warm climate, ideal altitudes, and nutrient-rich soils. Location, climate, and terrain are essential for the growth of coffee plants, which require temperatures between 18 and 24 degrees Celsius and a combination of sun and constant rainfall to maintain a humid yet warm environment. Coffee is mainly grown on mountainous slopes, where altitude directly affects the quality of the beans. At higher altitudes, cooler temperatures slow the ripening of coffee cherries, allowing flavors to concentrate. This phenomenon explains why high-altitude coffees tend to be more aromatic and complex. Coffee plants, which can live up to 30 years, bloom once or twice a year depending on the region. During this phase, they produce white flowers with a jasmine-like aroma. These flowers, once pollinated, turn into bright red cherries over a period of 6 to 9 months. Harvesting the cherries is a crucial moment in coffee production. The quality of the beans depends on picking the cherries at their perfect stage of ripeness. While some farms still rely on manual harvesting to ensure only the ripest cherries are selected, large-scale plantations use mechanical harvesters. For companies, using machines is more cost-effective and increases production. These machines use vibrations to detach the heavier, ripe cherries from the branches while leaving the green ones intact. A skilled manual picker can harvest around 100 to 200 kilos of cherries per day, which equals 20 to 40 kilos of green coffee beans, while a machine can harvest thousands of kilos of cherries in just a few hours. Once harvested, the cherries are quickly transported to a processing station to prevent uncontrolled fermentation. This is where their transformation into the beans we all recognize begins. The coffee processing stage includes 3 main methods that influence the final flavor profile of the beans: the washed method, the natural method, and the honey method. In the washed or wet method, cherries are placed in water tanks to separate the ripe ones from the unripe ones. They then pass through machines that remove the skin and pulp. The beans, covered in a sticky layer called mucilage, undergo controlled fermentation in water tanks, an essential step for developing clean and bright flavors. This process is repeated multiple times every 24 hours. But what is mucilage? Mucilage is a sticky, sugar-rich layer surrounding coffee beans inside the cherries after the outer pulp is removed. This layer plays a crucial role in coffee development, as it contains compounds that, during fermentation and drying, can influence the acidity, sweetness, and body of the final bean. The natural or dry method involves drying the cherries in the sun, spread out on patios or raised beds, where they are turned regularly for weeks to prevent uneven fermentation. Once dried, machines remove the husk and pulp. Finally, the honey or semi-washed method combines elements of both processes. Part of the mucilage is removed, but a residual layer remains during drying, resulting in a coffee with a sweeter profile. This method is used in coffees like Nescafé Dolce, which has a sweeter taste than others. Regardless of the method, the beans must dry until they reach a moisture level of 10 to 12%. This drying process can take 1 to 2 weeks, depending on the climate. Once dried, the beans, now known as parchment coffee, move on to the next stage. Hulling consists of removing the hard shell that surrounds and protects the dried bean. This step is carried out using machines called hullers. Once hulled, green beans are sorted by size, weight, and visual defects. Some countries, like Ethiopia and Colombia, also use manual sorting to ensure superior quality. To give you an idea, only 20% of harvested beans qualify as specialty coffee, a category that requires a score above 80 on a 100-point scale, according to international standards. This is why some coffee brands are so expensive. They perform manual inspections, Checking each bean individually is a tedious and repetitive job. And for mass production, it is a costly use of resources and time. The classified green beans are packed in jute bags, which allow ventilation and prevent moisture accumulation, and are stored in warehouses before being transported to factories. The coffee production process begins with a careful inspection and cleaning of the beans. Before being processed, they are examined to ensure they meet the quality standards sought by companies like Nescafé. Automatic sensors are used, but human tasters also sample the beans to ensure they have the right flavor, moisture, and appearance. This step is crucial to ensuring that only the best beans proceed to the next stages. Although being a coffee taster might seem like a dream job, it is actually a complex process. Human tasters, also known as cuppers in the coffee industry, play a key role in evaluating coffee quality from the start of production. They test samples from each batch that arrives at the factory, oversee the entire transformation process, and ultimately prepare and taste hundreds of cups of coffee. They must prepare coffee at different temperatures and conditions to ensure all batches meet quality standards and can cater to various consumers. Once inspected, the green beans are roasted. They are placed in rotating drums where they are heated to temperatures between 180 and 250 degrees Celsius. Depending on the desired flavor, time and temperature can vary. During roasting, the beans undergo a transformation. They lose weight, change color, and release the aromatic compounds that give coffee its distinctive smell. The roast level also affects the caffeine content in coffee. Lighter roasts, for example, have more caffeine than darker ones. Once the beans are ready, they are ground according to the final product being made. If it's ground coffee, it is ground to a suitable size for traditional brewing. But if instant coffee is being made, the grinding process has a different purpose. After grinding, the next step is extraction, in which the ground coffee is mixed with hot water at high pressure to obtain a concentrate. This concentrate undergoes a drying process, which can be done in two ways. Spray drying involves atomizing the liquid into fine droplets that quickly dry with hot air, while freeze drying is a more delicate process where the concentrate is frozen and then sublimated to better preserve flavor and aroma. This choice depends entirely on the desired coffee result. For example, Nescafé Gold, aiming for better aroma and flavor, usually undergoes a process similar to freeze drying, while Nescafé Origin seeks a standard flavor and prefers spray drying. Finally, the ground coffee is inspected for packaging. The packaged coffee is ready to be exported to markets worldwide. Now you know how hundreds of people, multiple complex processes, and thousands of kilometers traveled make it possible for you to have a hot cup of coffee every morning.